And when we got back, you see it for a little bit more days of like this sector, and then nothing on the news no more. Nobody reports shit about the border.
Yeah.
It is wild. And the reason why is, like I said, what do we see? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. And it's crazy because a lot of them are seeing how much more difficult it is to go through the wall because of the technology and everything else.
Yeah.
That unfortunately it forces them to go through dangerous paths.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like hills, terrain that is hot and everything else. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of the deaths are happening, is because
Yeah.
instead of me being able to normally go the normal way that I used to go through, now because of the alarms, because of this and that, I have to walk 5,000 miles down
Right.
this way to try to find an opening. And you're right. There's Arizona sectors, there's the Texas, there's everything else. And each sector is a little bit different and harsher than the other sectors.
Yeah.
But a lot of the deaths are happening because they're going through deeper terrain. They're going through paths, and especially with the little kids, they're
Yep.
going through territory that they're not familiar with. The one thing I did find interesting was Border Patrol now have beacons in all these, in certain areas where the terrain, where they're noticing a lot of deaths are happening, and they
Mm.
have beacons there too. It's a distress signal. So if you're an undocumented or an illegal trying to come in, or migrant trying to come in, and you feel like you're gonna die or you can't make it, you ran out of supplies, and you're sort of lost. If you find that beacon, you can hit it, and it will signal Border Patrol to where you're at, and they'll come and pick you up. And they'll basically send you on your way, but they'll come with supplies, make sure medically you're okay, and everything else, just to prevent the deaths from happening, because it's a lot. And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize that it's a lot of deaths that are going on because of the fact that they can't go through the normal way. But I was glad to read that, to see that Border Patrol is understanding that, yeah, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna try to come through no matter what.
Right.
But why let them die out there? If we can
Yeah.
do something to prevent that, then let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And it was interesting to read that they have those distress signals there, those beacons, to help those families out. Because like you said, a lot of them are good people. They mean well. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to make something out of their lives. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it would suck to find, as a Border Patrol, doing a routine inspection or whatever, and see a family dead there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I could see where the mental health will be with that as well,
Fuck yeah.
because you're seeing kids pass away, mothers pass away. Like, that shit is sad, man.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that they do those distress signals there, just to help them out and whatnot.
But also, it's not their job to prosecute. So they're not even
Yeah.
here to say you're doing wrong or you're going to jail. They're not even here to do that shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's even the crazier part. So it's like, so who does it? That's somebody else. Like,
Right.
we literally have somebody else who does that for them.
Yep.
So it's like, but so why do we think that about Border Patrol? It's like, man, just somebody stuck with some horrible PR person just let that thing stick and never said, let's
Yeah.
reinvent ourselves, man, because that's horrible.
That's crazy, man.
Because you know what I mean? That's I was like that. I was like, they don't prosecute. They're like, no, that's not our job. So what do you mean, you're federal agents? Yeah, we don't prosecute. It's like, man, like, who's your PR guy? Y'all need to get out there and tell people this story, man, of like,
Right.
y'all literally put him to someone else, and that's their job to figure out what's next. It's
Right.
like, hey, did you come here? I don't care what you're doing. I'm here to get you because you're here at this area. We're going to do this, that. If you came through this side, we would do this, but you came this side, so we go over here. What happens to you if you're going to prison, if you're not, if you're here, that's not my job. I'm literally here to get you and process you through the system. And that's it.
Right.
Somebody else takes it over from here. And I think that's, like I said, for me, that was some of the most eye-opening stuff. Is like, man, dude, they got a bad rap in a sense of like the Border Patrol does the border. Then it's like, well, then that's somebody else. That's immigration. That's another thing to talk about, because our policies are not very good. And there's nothing wrong with saying they're not very good. They need to be updated, but that has nothing to do with anyone that works for the Border Patrol.
Right.
That's all the politicians. And those guys, they can never agree on anything right now. Right now, I just got the notification for the debt ceiling. So that's going to happen, right? So that's going on. But even that bill, it just kicked the can 2 years down the road, saying there's going to be no cap for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's one of those ones where it's like, there's that. So that's all I have to say on that one. It was a cool trip, man. I had fun. Uh, we
That's good,
we
man.
we have
Shout out
plans
to
to do
you,
more.
and yeah, shout out to you, and especially Vincent Vargas for taking the initiative to do that, because it does need to be highlighted. Like you said, they have such a stigma to where it's always negative down there, just because of the speculations that the shit is bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. And you guys were proof to that. You guys went down there and showed them that there's nothing wrong going on here. The
Yeah.
way all these news affiliations try to make it out to seem. And that's kudos to him to do that. That was pretty cool. Was he gonna post that anywhere? Is that going anywhere? Like,
Yeah, I mean, those are part of the things, like I said, but it's nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like, we can, like, there's stuff to post, right? Like, because you
yeah,
talked
yeah,
about it,
yeah.
but that one
Okay,
was more political side of like, this is what's going on out there.
okay,
Like, there's other things that are going to happen, you know what I mean? But it's one of those ones where it's like, we can, I mean, it's like you edit things. And so what we did is like, we just post stuff live on TikTok and on
yeah,
YouTube and stuff, or like on Instagram. That wasn't happening because all the news is making it for the 2 o'clock, but someone was like, here's us right here, here's a border patrol chief right here, listen to him
yeah.
give a statement. It's just information. At the end of the day, man, it's all this stuff is just like it's media controls so much, I think. And we were just with a phone, like if you see that stuff is my phone, I'm just taking a video of it, and it's just like,
Yeah, yeah.
here's all these cameras, here's me just like with a phone and a camera, a regular like fucking rinky-dink
Shots
saying like
fired! Shots
but
fired! Get down!
but at the same time, though, it's like we're faster because we're on TikTok now. You have to
Yeah,
go and
yeah,
edit. You'll be done in like 30 minutes. It'll be nice. It'll be neat. But this is on TikTok right now.
yeah, yeah. It's
You
live.
can't beat it, man. It's like, I mean, that like people were tripping out about it, but it's like you had access to it at 10 o'clock at news, right? You had
Yeah.
access to it when the show hit on. You have access to it right now on TikTok because that's technology. And that just speaks to the power of stuff of sitting there saying, like there was people who were upset, like, how dare y'all not journalists? Like, yeah, no shit, we're not journalists. But at the same time frame, we have a phone, and there's a reason why people don't trust what they trust,
How
and that's
many
one
of
of
you
them.
guys? How many?
It's just a couple of us, like group,
Okay.
just a small group. It's some good people, like I said, just real nice people working on things, doing those things. It was a team, and you know what I mean. It takes money, unfortunately, right? So it's like you got to take off time from work. You got to do those things. So when people are like, "Why didn't you go here? Why didn't you go there?" Like, bro, you got another $5,000 for tickets. Like, we got family still. We're not going to sit there and be like, I guess I'm gone for the next 3 weeks on the road trying to, I mean, like, but no, man, these are
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's just that type of thing. So, dope time. It was a good time with him. A lot of things in the pipeline with him. He's a good dude. Um, Especially somebody who's in Hollywood. He was like, no, like and
Yeah.
he used to be an actual border patrol agent.
Yeah, yeah.
So he always wants to give back to the people, man. Veterans and the
Yeah.
border patrol, man. Those are his people, and so that's what it
Yeah,
was.
that's awesome, man. Yeah, check his show out, Mayans. That shit is top notch. It's a really good series. Motorcycle Club, if you're into motorcycles and things like that. We should
Yeah,
probably reach
man.
out to him and try to get him on. That'd be cool to talk
I
to
just
him.
gotta ask him, man. So it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
But that's cool though. So what else you been up to, man?
Dude, there's a lot of things we got going
Let's
on,
talk
man.
about your attire. I know we started off with that earlier before we went on the air, but let's talk about that.
What do you want
What
to
you
talk
got? The hat, the
about?
shirt.
So these are just things. So I just run. I do a lot of things for Beteran. So Beteran is just a cool company of all it is. It's just pretty much. Um, it's not just for veterans, but it's for veteran. It's becoming a better veteran, right?
Better
So it's
Ribbon.
called Beteran. It's just
Yeah.
cool, dope shit of being like, just become a better person, become a better veteran, help out your community. All our proceeds, half of our proceeds go to nonprofits. So I'm the director of Tomorrow Battalion, and that's a
Nice.
nonprofit that helps with different healing modalities, helping veterans transition and helping them
Yeah.
heal from trauma. Beyond, let's just get you a therapy. It's like, hey man, how about if you're having issues, let's send you to Mexico for ayahuasca trip. Cool. We can send you over there. We can do those things. We can help you out with that. Hey, how about DMR therapy? We can send you to those things. And so it's just different ways of helping veterans heal. And it's not the traditional sense of like, hey, let's just pump you full of medicines and hope you're having a good day. Let's actually like
Right.
go some deep down things and heal some trauma.
Good, man. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I like
Yeah,
the
man. I
hat
mean,
though. The shirt is nice too.
yeah, man. It's just it's one of those ones where it's man, it's just my whole space is veterans. I only deal with one area, and it's just
Yeah.
veterans. I like it. It brings me purpose in life. And I think a lot of people don't understand, man, like if you don't have purpose, or maybe not everybody, But I know when I got out of the military, I had a lot of issues. And a
Right.
lot of it was because I lost my purpose. At least in the military, I knew what my purpose was. Even if it was the smallest thing in the world, it still was a purpose, and it's how I fit in the machine. And when I
Right.
got out, I lost that purpose. And so ever since for the last couple of years, man, I help out veterans. You know, I help out. I'm a director for a nonprofit for service dogs, helping veterans with service dogs here in Lubbock, Texas. Dope shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Dope.
it's kind of those one things where you show the amazing things that we can do post service.
Hmm.
I'm all down for that, right? Like there's just everyone's having issues. Man, there's so many things that there's just like there's a negativity in this world where I don't know what it is, man. And you and I were talking about this one time, but we always say like veterans are committing suicide, man. Like they're not. I don't think so. It's actually they're coming out and finding out that's actually the 22 is not really a true number.
Right.
It's just like a general number of like that's statistically proven. But at the same time frame, it's like as veterans, I don't know why we're this way. But we're like, did you get 100%? Yeah. Congrats, man. You're permanently disabled. And we're like, we're the weirdest fucking people in the
Right.
world where we congratulate each other on how messed up we are. But there's a lot of veterans doing some really cool things. And so it's my like belief that we don't really need to talk about committing suicide because the more we talk about committing suicide, the more we talk about depression, the more we talk about these things, honestly, man, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, like prophet, right? If like, hey, this is all we're doing. I fucked up that sound bite big time. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Prophecy. Prophecy.
right, like get tore up in the comments. But seriously, if all we talk about as veterans is suicide, like, hey, we're going to commit suicide, we're doing this one. That's what we're going to end up doing because that's all we talk about.
That's all we talk
Instead
about.
of
Right.
right, instead of us talking about like, hey, man, we're doing dope stuff, man. We are highly trained individuals.
Hmm.
You put 4 or 5 of it in somewhere, and we can do a lot of different things, man. Especially we have different skill sets. Man, you telling me you put a guy who was even a cook in the military, you put him in a restaurant, that dude he can change that whole thing around
Right.
because he's
Absolutely.
trained. And so like that's my biggest thing is like, man, we're doing some dope things and we can do amazing things. Yet when we get out of the service, the first thing everyone does is like, oh, pobrecito, like you're so broken. You do like
Yeah.
this motherfucker was a badass. This lady was a badass. Like we got some badass people in the military, and yet every time we get out of the military, people think we're broken. People think we're
Right.
fragile. I'm just really having a big problem with that right now. Where I'm like, I'm tired of people thinking I'm fragile because I was in the military. They can't say things around me, or something would happen. Are you okay? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, that might have scared me. Might that okay, but cool. I'm not fragile, and stop walking around me like I'm a China doll. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest problem with our community is we let people, so many people, like tell us that we're wrong, that we're broken, that we're this and that, instead of being like, no, we're not, man. We're badass people. We need to go out there. We need to work out. We need to do something for our community, and we need to get better. Like we need self improvement. That's what the Air Force taught us to do. If we do that one, man, how many more things we're gonna do? We're gonna be killing it. So
Yeah.
that's what I like about Beteran is like that kind of thing of like it gives us responsibility in a sense of like, hey man, you need to be better. And the
Right.
better you are, the better your community is, the better this country is.
That's good. And that's a good outlook for it. Because you're right. I feel like veterans, they just need more uplifting. And the problem is that when they get out, they don't have that brotherhood, sisterhood anymore. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that camaraderie that's they normally had when they were in the military. And shout out to a lot of these military or veteran organizations that are out there, supporting these veterans and trying to help them out as much as they can. And that's why I like sometimes I appreciate social media because they are, you're able to create these veteran affiliated pages for all veterans to get on there and communicate with each other. Even if you don't know me, you know what I'm saying? If you're posting out there that you're in trouble, that that you need answers or you need help or whatever, you'd be surprised at how the amount of responses that veteran will get from other veterans that they don't even know from a hole in the wall. I
Yeah.
don't know how many. So I'm on Veterans for Veterans. It's a Facebook page, and you will read on there a lot of posts of, sometimes unfortunately deals with the VA, it deals with disability ratings, and sometimes it just deals with, hey, I'm in a bad space, I'm alone, I'm not thinking straight, can somebody talk to me? Simple as that. And you'll be surprised the amount of responses on there that are saying where you live, or here's my number, or hey, send me a DM right away. Like veterans would look out for veterans to, make sure that you're not part of that statistic of committing suicide. And it's sad. it's sad. In my career within the military, unfortunately, I had around 3 friends that committed suicide, and it's a sad fucking thing. It really is,
Yeah.
because they don't, they're leaving a long lasting impact on yourself, on their families, on their brothers, on their sisters, on their aunts, uncles, whatever the case may be, and especially when they're really good people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, good hearted, good person, humble as could be, and to our surprise, that was the end result, which sucks. But I'm grateful that we have sort of olive branches out there to help veterans to get back on their feet. If they need support group, whatever the case may be, and thankful for social media for able to expand on those things. Because if this was the old school way where I had to remember your phone number to call and talk to you,
Yeah.
I'd be in trouble. Believe me or not, I had a little black book when I was in Germany. A little black book I had that had the name, your address, and your phone number. And I'd be like, hey, your next duty station, stay in touch. Email me or call me. And this was before cell phones came out or whatnot. But I'm grateful that the support is still there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, veterans are not just coming out and say, oh, fuck it. Uh, I'm by myself in this. I'm just going to do it all alone and figure it out. I'm glad that they're able to just make a post saying, hey, this happened to me. How do I get help for this? I don't understand this, or I'm telling you, a lot of it is I'm alone. My head is dark. I'm not thinking straight. Can somebody just simply reach out and talk to me? And the responses are always, I'm here for you. That's always a
Yeah.
response. I'm here for you. Because it's just something about just being able to relate to that person, because we're both veterans. We both
Yeah.
wore the same boots. We both did deployments. We both did, this many years, whatever the case may be, that we have that understanding that we know what you're going through. And it sucks that the perception is you're broken,
Yeah.
because we're not. You know what I'm saying? Look at yourself. Look at Vincent Vargas. Look at other Morgan Freeman was ex Air Force. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rob Riggle, the comedian on Hangover, he was a lieutenant colonel of the Marines. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are veterans that are doing great stuff. My boy who works in valuetainment, doing great stuff, ex Air Force. You know what I'm saying? And it's great to highlight those people, because you can do more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, this is just because you are out of the military doesn't mean it's the end. You know,
Yeah. And
especially
I think
not surrendering to suicide either.
man too, like especially a lot of people that they're doing great things, like they moved on from
Mm-hmm.
doing it. So that's why they're not throwing everyone, hey, I'm a veteran. You know what I mean? There's some people that's what they hold on to, but at the same time frame, man, like you're not that no more. You're
Right.
this new chapter, man. Embrace it and move forward. But everything you did ahead of time, all that skill set, all that hard work, that's still you. It's just not that title's you no more. You're not a
Right.
first sergeant no more. You're not a sergeant no more. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. No one, and so I think that's part of the journey too as well when it comes into this stuff of like, hey man, I moved on.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that either, man. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with sitting there saying like, hey man, look, I'm like I said, I will always be a veteran. I have no problem saying I'm a veteran.
Right.
But anytime we're someone that like have the veteran stand up, I'm like, I'm good, man. Like I'm good. I don't
No,
need to sit there like
I
that.
stand up in my
That, but
nephew's graduation. They recognized. I was like, hell yeah, I'm right here.
yeah,
Let's go. Right
and
here,
there's
veteran
nothing wrong
baby.
with that,
Let's
right?
go. Right.
There's nothing wrong, but there's some people who decided to move on. You just like when people hear out Morgan Freeman's a fucking Air
Mm-hmm.
Force, like they're like, no
Mm-hmm.
way. Yeah, he just moved on where that was just
Right.
something he just so happened to do. He just killed it on the other side.
Right.
There's a lot of people where you don't even know they're veterans because it's not that they're not proud. It's just like, oh, that was just something I did, man. I'm doing something else over here. And a lot of times I think a lot of us kind of stick into that point of like who I used to be. I used to
Mm.
be this, I used to be that, I used to be this, and not looking at like, look at what I am now. I'm
Right.
I'm all that hard work it was before to become this, and so that's still me.
Right.
But I'm just not that. I'm just not that NCO no more. I'm not that, you know what I mean? I'm not this person. I'm now just Mike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at one time someone would be like, hey Sergeant, I'm like, whoa, hold up, homie. Like that's a while ago, man. We're good. You know what I mean? It's weird. But back in the day that was so
Yeah.
normal. And now it's like, nah, it's Mike, man. Let's move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and those are some things that we got to learn as we're getting out of the military, man. It's like, okay, you're getting out of the military. That's going to be hard. Great. Now, however, got to find some purpose. What's your purpose, man? Whatever your gift is, whatever you're good at doing, whatever you were trained at doing, just help people with that. That's all you gotta do. It's that simple. And you will make money too. Because there's if you're experienced and you're highly qualified and you're